This is Richard Flax at MoneyFarm, talking about some of the things that have caught our attention over the past couple of days. Two things really to touch on today. The first is around the signs that the government is looking to take direct equity stakes in certain strategic businesses. We've seen it floated in the UK, so-called Project Birch, but also we've seen signs of it elsewhere in Europe. And it raises interesting questions for financial investors around how much flexibility companies will have in the future relative to the flexibility they've had in the past. For instance, to decide on their dividend policy, to focus on profitability rather than considering broader set of stakeholders. Now, to some extent, this has been an ongoing debate for the last several years, but it seems that the current crisis will accelerate that process. And the potential there is that companies will be unable to return as much in the way of dividends as they have in the past. We'll need to think about a broader set of stakeholders, and from a sustainability perspective, that may be a good thing. But we'll also need to consider the implications that has in terms of cash flows and in terms of valuations for those businesses. The second part is really about the reopening. We continue to see signs that economies are reopening. And so far it's been relatively smooth in the sense that we haven't seen a very sharp increase in infections. We have seen some hotspots, but so far nothing on a broad scale to suggest that governments will need to reconsider their policies of gradually reopening. That's a positive thing. The question then becomes to what extent economies really do reopen, behavior returns to something approaching normality, and the global economy slowly begins to recover. And the trajectory, as we've said before, is significant. When we look at financial markets, we continue to think that financial markets are pricing in a relatively positive outcome, a relatively swift return to some sort of normality. We perhaps have a slightly more conservative view. We think that it's too soon to say with great certainty that this will be the case, even if some of the worst potential outcomes appear to have been avoided for now. But it's something that concerns us, that the state of the global economy, the trajectory of that recovery may not be quite as rosy as some financial markets appear to be pricing in. So for now, we maintain what is a relatively conservative view, and we'll continue to monitor the situation, really for signs that the trajectory of the economic recovery and the trajectory of the healthcare recovery are proving to be sound and sustainable. Thank you for joining. I look forward to speaking to you again soon.